podcast where truth moves faster than a Holstein calf. No waiting on some pretty page. We're charting your ground in the digital age. From genomic codes to row-wide facts, we cut through the noise, no holding back. Not your daddy's dairy news tonight. We're sparking debates with every insight. The ring's not where the real fight's at. It's in the data, in the channel chat. From pasture to processor to your morning cup, we're raising the stakes. Try and get ahead of herd. Yeah! Where the future's more than just a word. Ahead of herd. Come on! The bullvine's calling, let your voice be heard.
Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your hub for the boldest ideas and insights transforming the dairy industry. In today's episode, we unpack groundbreaking research from Michigan State University that challenges everything you thought about corn silage nutrition and strategy. Get ready for fresh, actionable intel that could boost your milk production and farm profitability.
Welcome back to the Bullvine Podcast, the show that digs deep into the topics that matter to dairy producers.
And what a topic we have today. We're diving into a feature article from the Bullvine that has truly sent ripples through the dairy industry. It's forcing us to reconsider some long-held beliefs, and we're going to break down every facet of this deep dive.
Absolutely. The article that has captured everyone's attention is titled BR2 Corn Silage, a new challenger to BMR.
Yeah.
If that title alone doesn't pique your interest, let me assure you, its central provocative claim certainly will. This piece suggests that recent Michigan State BR2 corn trials may completely flip the script on BMR's longstanding reputation as the unbeatable silage.
Flip the script feels like an understatement, doesn't it?
It really does.
When this research first started circulating at summer dairy meetings, there was a palpable buzz, almost a sense of disbelief among seasoned producers and nutritionists alike. BMR has been the gold standard, the undisputed champion of high-quality forage for so long. It's been the cornerstone of high-producing dairy rations for decades.
Ages, yeah.
So to hear that this new br2, short-stature corn, isn't just competing, but actually outperforming BMR in some really critical metrics, well, it genuinely makes you sit up and take notice. It's like hearing a new rookie just beat the perennial MVP.
It truly is. And for you, our listener, our mission today is to thoroughly unpack this surprising research.
Yeah, let's get into it.
We want to really understand its intricate details and implications and ultimately help you figure out what these findings could mean for your 2025 feed strategy. We're here to provide the clarity you need to make informed, data-driven decisions for your operation.
And before we get too deep, let's quickly set the stage by defining a few key terms we'll be using throughout our conversation, just so we're all on the same page.
Good idea.
First up, the familiar BMR.
BMR, which stands for brown midrib, is a type of corn characterized by a naturally reduced lignin content.
Right, that reduced lignin.
This reduction is absolutely crucial because lignin is essentially the indigestible glue in the plant cell wall, and less of it means significantly improved fiber digestibility.
That's the key.
For decades, BMR has been the premium forage standard, the benchmark against which all other silages were measured for high-producing dairy cows.
Then we have BR2, which is shorthand for Burkitic 2.
Okay.
This is a novel gene that gives us short-stature corn. What's truly unique about BR2 is its completely different plant architecture compared to conventional or even BMR corn.
How so?
It's much shorter, much more compact, and that structural difference plays a significant role in its agronomic and nutritional profile.
Gotcha. And as we talk about performance, you'll hear us refer to ECM or energy-corrected milk.
Important one.
This isn't just about the volume of milk, it's the metric that truly reflects what matters for your milk check, as it accounts for both the milk volume and its energy-rich components like fat and protein.
Right, it balances it out.
It gives us a more accurate picture of the energy output from the cow.
And finally, DMI, or dry matter intake. This is simply how much feed your cows are actually consuming on a dry matter basis.
Pretty straightforward.
Generally, higher DMI often correlates with higher production because the more high-quality nutrients a cow can consume, the more she has available to convert into milk.
Makes sense.
But, as we'll see today, it's not always a direct one-to-one relationship.
All the fascinating data and observations we're dissecting today, those numbers that got everyone talking, come from rigorous scientific research.
Yeah, this isn't just hearsay.
Specifically, we're drawing from the work by Sirmikasagluglu et al., published in August 2025 in the Journal of Dairy Science Communications.
Right.
So this isn't speculation. It's backed by credible, peer-reviewed science, which is vital when we're discussing such potentially disruptive findings.
Okay, let's truly unpack this. The executive summary from the article doesn't mince words. It drops some pretty remarkable numbers right off the bat.
Yeah, it gets right to it.
It claims these new br2 short-stature corn hybrids are crushing BMR in the feed bunk. Now, crushing is a strong word, but when you look at the raw data,
It's hard to argue.
it becomes incredibly difficult to argue with the sentiment. Yeah.
It really does. We're talking about an impressive 8% higher dry matter intake for cows on BR2 silage compared to those on BMR.
8%. That's huge.
But what's truly significant is that this isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. That higher intake translates directly into a 3.8% increase in overall milk production. It's a compelling story playing out in the bulk tank.
And that 3.8% increase isn't just an abstract percentage point. The article quantifies it for us, estimating it at roughly 2.6 extra pounds of milk per cow daily.
2.6 pounds.
For a lot of producers, that's not just a statistic, it's a game changer for their bulk tank, day in and day out.
Definitely.
What also strikes me about that intake jump is the sheer metabolic drive it represents. An 8% higher DMI means cows were consuming over 4 pounds more dry matter daily when fed BR2.
Over 4 pounds more feed. Wow.
That's a massive amount of additional fuel driving a more productive engine.
Absolutely. When you start connecting these numbers to your bottom line, the picture becomes even clearer.
Yeah. Let's talk money.
The article suggests this increased production could inject an additional $1.25 per cow daily into your operation.
$1.25 a cow.
If you multiply that across your herd over a year, you're looking at nearly $400 annually per cow based on current market prices.
Oh.
And let's not overlook the potential for a significant protein bump, especially with protein prices hovering around, $1.87 per pound in many markets.
Yeah, protein's valuable.
That's real, tangible money that directly impacts your profitability and could easily justify considering this new forage.
What truly makes these findings even more remarkable and honestly a bit eyebrow-raising is the context in which this trial took place.
Right, the conditions.
This was during the 2023 Michigan corn year, which, as many dairy producers painfully remember, was characterized by a severe and brutal drought.
Oh yeah, that was tough.
Now, BMR corn, while excellent, often doesn't perform at its absolute best under such intense environmental stress.
No, it can struggle.
So for BR2 to not only hold its own, but actually show this kind of success in challenging drought-affected conditions, that to me is genuinely noteworthy and suggests a robust resilience.
It does. It raises the question, could BR2's unique compact plant architecture, perhaps with a more efficient root system or less surface area for transpiration, be inherently more tolerant to water stress than the taller BMR hybrids?
That's a good question. Something to watch.
That's something worth watching in future research. And the cows involved were mid-lactation, averaging around 150 days in milk, not fresh cows.
Right, not the fresh group.
Typically, we see BMR shine brightest and offer its most pronounced advantages in those early lactation high-demand periods when cows are peaking and need maximum energy density and rapid passage.
Exactly. Fresh cows need that kickstart.
For BR2 to show such strong results in mid-lactation hints at a broader utility, suggesting it might be a valuable tool across different stages of the lactation curve, which is something we might not have initially assumed.
That's interesting. And beyond the impressive feed bunk performance and milk increases, there's an agronomic advantage that's a real kicker for producers.
Oh yeah, what's that?
The article highlights that BR2 hybrids also offer better standability in the field.
Ah, standability, that's huge.
This means a significantly reduced risk of lodging that dreaded situation where the corn stalks fall over and tangle, making harvest an absolute nightmare.
Oof, lodged corn's the worst.
Anyone who's had to deal with tangled lodged corn knows the sheer frustration, time loss, and valuable silage tonnage sacrificed. The peace of mind alone that comes from better standability when the weather turns ugly is a substantial on-farm benefit.
It truly is a double win, isn't it? Better performance in the cow and better resilience in the field, reducing harvest headaches and protecting your yield.
Seems like it.
But, as with anything that promises such significant upside, there are always a few practical trade-offs and hurdles to consider, and the executive summary is commendably upfront about them.
Right. It's not all roses.
It's not a magic bullet.
You're right. The two main downsides highlighted are a slight drop in butterfat, about 0.13 percentage points.
Okay, 0.13 fat points.
Which, while not massive, is certainly something to monitor very closely, especially if you're shipping to a plant with strict fat requirements.
Definitely need to watch that.
And then there's the big one, the need to budget for equipment modifications. An estimated $15,000 to $22,000 per machine to handle the lower ear heights of BR2.
Wow, 15 to 22K per machine.
Yeah. While these are certainly significant considerations, the article posits that when you crunch the numbers, the overall economics still look pretty compelling, at least on paper.
Okay, so the math might still work out, even with those costs.
Potentially.
It's crucial to understand the scientific rigor behind this research. This wasn't some small-scale anecdotal observation on a handful of cows.
No, it was proper study.
Michigan State conducted a meticulously designed trial, putting 3 different BR2 short-stature hybrids head-to-head against Pioneer's P0956AMX BMR, which is a widely recognized and high-performing BMR hybrid.
Yep, a good benchmark.
As well as a conventional tall hybrid. They used 40 mid-lactation cows, rotating them through 3 21-day periods.
Standard crossover design.
This kind of crossover design with multiple replicates is a fairly standard and a robust protocol for dairy nutrition work, adding significant credibility to the findings.
And that rigor truly makes the author's personal admission even more impactful. The article mentions that when the author first saw Dr. Mike VandeHaar's initial numbers, their immediate thought was that there must have been a mistake somewhere in the data collection or analysis.
Really? They thought it was an error?
Yeah. That raw human reaction really highlights just how deeply entrenched BMR's reputation is as the ultimate silage, and how genuinely disruptive and unexpected these new BR2 findings truly are.
Wow.
It forces everyone in the industry to take a second, much closer look.
So the production numbers are genuinely impressive, and they've certainly got everyone's attention. But here's where it gets really interesting, and frankly a bit puzzling for us as nutritionists and scientists. The article highlights a significant disconnect between what the standard lab tests predicted and what actually happened inside the cow.
Ah, the lab versus cow disconnect. This is the big one.
And that, to me, is the true head-scratcher that might force us to rethink how we evaluate forage quality.
Exactly. This is the part that has nutritionists everywhere scratching their heads, perhaps even questioning some of our core assumptions.
Okay, break it down.
The pretrial lab work, conducted as we normally would, showed exactly what we've all come to expect. BMR absolutely crushed the competition for fiber digestibility, clocking in at an impressive 63% IVNDFD after 30 hours.
63% IVNDFD for BMR, that sounds about right.
Compare that to the BR2 hybrids, which range from just 57% to 60%.
Okay, so quite a gap in the lab.
Based purely on those lab numbers, any dairy nutritionist would confidently predict BMR to be the clear winner, driving superior intake and performance in the cow.
Makes sense based on the standard metrics, but
then, when they actually measured total tract digestibility in live cows, which is the real acid test of what nutrients the animal actually absorbs,
right, what the cow actually gets out of it,
that lab advantage for BMR completely vanished.
Vanished. Really?
The NDF digestibility was essentially identical across the board, 45.4% for BMR and 45.2% for BR2.
Wow, practically the same.
The difference was statistically insignificant. Look, this isn't just a minor discrepancy. This fundamentally challenges a lot of our long-standing assumptions about how we evaluate forage quality and what truly drives performance in the animal.
It really makes you wonder what we're missing, doesn't it?
It really does. What's truly fascinating here is how this disconnect directly impacts our heavy reliance on 30-hour IVNDFD numbers for forage purchasing decisions.
Yeah, that 30-hour number is king.
For years, that metric has been a go-to, often dictating premium prices for BMR. We put so much stock in that value, believing it's the ultimate predictor of how a forage will perform in the cow. But if actual total tract digestibility, the real-world performance, tells a different story, it strongly suggests that we might be oversimplifying the biological process.
So maybe that one lab value isn't the whole picture.
Perhaps we're missing something more significant, a more complex interaction within the rumen and the entire digestive tract that isn't fully captured by a single in vitro lab value.
It absolutely raises a profoundly important question for the industry. Are we leaning too heavily on one lab test, perhaps ignoring the holistic living system of the cow?
It kind of feels like it based on this.
It implies that the cow herself is the ultimate, most sophisticated laboratory, and what happens in her unique rumen environment and subsequent digestive tract is far more nuanced and complex than a snapshot of fiber degradation in a test tube.
Yeah.
This could mean a paradigm shift in how we approach forage breeding and evaluation moving forward.
It really could. Let's really dig deeper into the parlor numbers, because ultimately this is where producers make their money and evaluate their feed choices.
Right. The proof is in the production.
The article provides a clear daily production comparison that truly tells the story. For feed intake, BMR-fed cows were at 24.5 kilograms of dry matter per day.
Okay, 24.5 kilogram DMI for BMR.
While the BR2 average soared to 26.5 kilograms.
26.5 kilograms.
That's an impressive 8.2% increase for BR2, meaning those cows were consuming over 4 pounds more feed daily. That's a huge difference in fuel.
Wow, that intake difference is striking, and as we discussed, that higher intake directly translated to higher milk production. BMR-fed cows produced 32.0 kilograms per day, while BR2-fed cows hit 33.2 kilograms per day.
Okay, so 32 versus 33.2 kilograms.
That's a 3.8% increase, or an additional 2.6 pounds of milk per cow per day. For many operations, even a fraction of a pound makes a difference, so 2.6 pounds is a significant boost to the bulk tank, especially when compounded across a large herd.
Definitely noticeable. More importantly for today's market, where component premiums are king and milk protein is highly valued, milk protein yield saw a healthy and valuable bump.
Protein's key. What were the numbers?
BMR came in at 1.10 kilograms per day, while BR2 produced 1.15 kilograms per day, a 4.5% increase.
Nice bump in protein.
With protein premiums sometimes reaching as high as $3.50 per hundredweight in certain markets, that increase isn't just significant, it's extremely valuable revenue that goes directly into your pocket.
Yeah, that adds up quickly.
It's a key reason why BR2's economic appeal is so strong.
Now, we do need to address the trade-off, and it's an important one, with milk fat.
Yes, the fat percentage.
The percentage dropped from 4.45% on BMR to 4.32% on BR2.
Okay, that 0.13 point drop.
That 0.13 percentage point hit is certainly not nothing, as the article states, especially for operations dealing with very particular processing plants or quotas.
You gotta watch your components.
However, it's worth noting that due to the significantly higher milk volume from BR2, the total pounds of fat produced per cow actually remain quite similar between the two diets.
So total pounds of fat were similar. That's important.
Exactly. So while the percentage drops, the overall fat output in terms of total pounds was maintained, which is a crucial distinction.
Okay, good clarification. And here's another point that truly highlights the nuance and prevents us from seeing this as a simple winner-takes-all scenario. When we look at feed efficiency.
Right, ECM per DMI.
BMR still was the champion. It registered at 1.51 ECM per unit of DMI compared to BR2's 1.43.
Oh, interesting. So BMR was more efficient.
That's a 5.3% difference favoring BMR. So it's clearly not a simple case of BR2 being better across the board.
No, definitely more complex.
This disparity in efficiency, despite higher intake in production, points directly what the article calls two distinctly different feeding philosophies.
Okay, explain that. Different philosophies.
What's truly fascinating here is that this isn't necessarily about declaring one forage better or worse than the other, but rather about recognizing that we now have different, highly effective tools for different situations on the farm.
Right, different tools for different jobs.
BMR, with its demonstrated higher efficiency, and the Michigan State data showing BMR cows maintaining slightly better body condition.
Better body condition with BMR.
Truly seems built for efficiency and condition maintenance. This could make it an ideal choice for specific groups, like fresh cows that need to recover body condition quickly while still producing at a high level. Its rapid passage rate is crucial here.
Okay, so BMR for fresh cows, maybe, where efficiency and condition are paramount.
Exactly. If you're focusing on those critical early lactation animals, where every pound of body condition matters not just for current production, but for future reproductive success and overall health.
Right.
BMR's characteristics, that efficient nutrient utilization and maintenance of condition, might be precisely what you need in that phase. It helps them maintain that delicate balance and sets them up for success throughout lactation.
On the other hand, BR2 really looks like a high-throughput production driver.
Yeah, push the intake, push the milk.
It's allowing cows to consume more feed which is then translated into significantly more milk and valuable components. This could be particularly well-suited for well-conditioned cows in mid to late lactation, where your primary goal shifts slightly from condition recovery to maximizing component output and driving that bulk tank number.
Right, cows that can handle the higher intake.
These cows are already stable, and you want to push them for maximum yield.
It's about tailoring your forage strategy, providing a more refined approach to precision nutrition based on the specific needs and goals for different groups within your herd.
Yeah, makes sense. More tools in the toolbox.
It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, but rather an expanded and more specialized toolbox that allows for more sophisticated management.
And the researchers, to their credit, were incredibly refreshing and honest about why BMR might have stumbled in this particular trial.
Yeah, they didn't hide the context.
This transparency is incredibly valuable for interpreting the results and understanding how they might or might not apply to your own operation. It's a vital piece of the puzzle.
First, and we briefly touched on this, it was a 2023 Michigan corn year, which was a brutal drought year.
Right. The drought factor again?
This intense environmental stress likely impacted BMR more severely than the more structurally robust br2 hybrids.
Okay.
As many producers know, drought-stressed BMR can become extremely challenging, both agronomically in terms of standability and harvestability, and nutritionally, where the benefits of reduced lignin can be overshadowed by overall plant stress when water is scarce.
Yeah, drought BMR can be tough.
Its genetic advantages might be compromised in such extreme conditions.
Second, these were mid-lactation cows, averaging 150 days in milk, not fresh cows.
Right, we covered that.
In mid-lactation, animals aren't typically as constrained by physical fill as they are in early lactation when they're rapidly ramping up intake. So BMR's signature faster passage rate, which is a huge advantage for clearing the rumen and allowing more feed intake in fresh cows, might not have provided the same significant benefit in these mid-lactation animals whose appetites are already well established and less physically restricted.
The need just wasn't as great, maybe.
The physiological need simply isn't as acute.
Third, and this is a crucial detail that highlights the complexity of research.
Okay, what's this?
When the herd switched from their normal diet to the study diets, both intake and milk yield dropped by 3.6 and 4.8 kilograms per day, respectively, across all groups.
Oh, wow. So production dropped when they went on to the study diets.
Yeah, for everyone. This suggests the experimental diets, despite careful formulation, might not have been perfectly optimal or palatable for these specific cows. This general stress response, or dietary challenge, could have potentially masked some of BMR's usual advantages, or perhaps even limited the full expression of BA2's potential, making it harder to discern specific dietary effects.
That's a really important caveat because it underscores that even in a highly controlled research setting, external factors and dietary transitions can influence outcomes.
Absolutely.
Additionally, the study didn't include mycotoxin analysis.
No myco data.
In a drought year, particularly one as severe as 2023, mycotoxin contamination is always a concern.
Big concern in drought years.
The absence of this analysis leaves an important question unanswered, especially when unexpected intake patterns are observed. It's a piece of the puzzle that's missing and could have impacted the overall health and performance of the cows on any of the diets.
Yeah, that would have been good to know. This trial, despite its remarkable findings, perfectly illustrates why, as an industry, we absolutely cannot solely rely on isolated lab numbers or even single-location trial results.
It's never that simple, is it?
Real cows, real environmental stresses, and real-world management constraints. They all interact in complex ways and matter far more than we sometimes admit. The lab provides a valuable starting point, a hypothesis, but the farm, with all its variables, provides the ultimate undeniable truth about what truly performs.
So the cow performance data is compelling, and it definitely paints an intriguing picture for the future of forage.
It does.
But here's the reality check we mentioned earlier. The article is also very clear that BR2 isn't a plug-and-play solution. You can just seamlessly drop into your existing system without forethought.
Nope, definitely not plug and play.
There's a significant elephant in the machine shed we absolutely need to talk about: the equipment required for harvest.
That's right. The harvest challenges for BR2 are substantial, primarily due to its defining characteristic, those significantly lower ear heights.
Right, the short stature means low ears.
Industry sources are reporting BR2 ear heights ranging from 20 to 26 inches, which is considerably lower than the typical 34 to 40 inches we see for conventional or BMR models.
Wow, that's a big difference, 20-26 versus 34-40 inches.
This isn't just a minor adjustment. It often forces existing headers to operate well below their normal designed operating range, which creates a host of issues.
And this distance isn't trivial in terms of cost or logistics. Based on conversations with equipment dealers across the Midwest, preliminary estimates for necessary header modifications are running a hefty $15,000 to $22,000 per machine for older equipment.
Oof, 15 to 22 grand per machine.
Even newer machines will require significant setup changes and potentially slower ground speeds, especially during that initial learning curve.
It's not just old equipment.
It's a substantial upfront investment that can't be ignored when you're looking at the full ROI.
It's a truly significant upfront investment, as you said. And early adopters have emphasized budgeting not just money, but also extra time for adjustments during harvest.
Right, time is money too.
Expect some initial learning curve losses in that first year. You need to get your settings meticulously dialed in correctly, and that takes time, patience, and effort.
Yeah.
It's definitely not something you want to be figuring out on the fly when the weather window is closing fast and every hour counts. This can impact your overall harvest efficiency and profitability.
To help minimize harvest losses, which can eat into those potential gains, the article details a practical loss check protocol.
Yeah, got to check your losses.
It's pretty straightforward, but absolutely essential. You need to stop periodically during chopping and physically count ears behind the header across several transects.
Get out, look.
Then, weigh those measured swaths to accurately estimate your actual loss percentages. This gives you concrete data to work with.
And based on those findings, you immediately adjust your deck plates, your snout angles, and your header height accordingly.
Check and adjust, check and adjust.
It's an iterative process. And critically, you should be targeting kernel processing scores above 70% on your standard lab analysis.
Gotta crack those kernels.
This isn't just about getting the corn off the field. It's about getting it off efficiently and processed optimally, so those valuable kernels are fully available to the cow, not passing through undigested.
Makes sense. Beyond the harvest, we absolutely need to talk about ration management, specifically protecting butterfat.
Right, back to that fat percentage.
That 0.13 percentage point drop in milk fat we discussed earlier isn't just a number. It adds up fast, especially with current component pricing structures.
It sure does.
This makes getting your nutritionist involved early and deeply in the conversation an absolute necessity if you're even contemplating trialing BR2 silage.
Yeah, call your nutritionist first thing.
They will be your co-pilot in navigating this.
The enhanced starch digestibility of BR2 means potentially faster and more vigorous rumen fermentation.
Okay, faster fermentation.
While this can be good for energy, it also requires careful monitoring. You'll want your nutritionist to watch your physically effective NDF, BNDF levels very closely to ensure adequate rumen health and function.
Keep an eye on PEN-NDF.
If fermentation happens too quickly, rumen pH can drop, impacting fiber digestion and potentially leading to acidosis or milk fat depression. Monitor fecal starch like a hawk during any transition periods, as it's a direct indicator of how well that starch is being utilized and whether it's too rapidly fermentable or simply passing through.
Fecal starch checks. Got it.
And to prevent exacerbating milk fat depression issues, you might need to consider adjusting buffer levels in the diet based on real-time rumen pH patterns.
Adjust buffers.
And carefully monitor the total unsaturated fatty acid load in the ration, as excessive levels can also depress butter fat.
Okay, watch the fatty acids too.
It's a holistic approach to managing rumen function and balancing the entire diet. The good news, though, is that the protein response was consistently solid across all 3 BR2 hybrids tested.
That's good news on protein.
Which, in today's market with those high protein premiums, really matters and helps offset any fat concerns.
So let's talk economics, the real numbers for 2025, because this is where the rubber meets the road for every producer.
Yep, time to crunch the numbers.
If BR2 consistently gets you an extra 2.6 pounds of milk daily, and assuming protein premiums hold strong around $3.50 per hundredweight in many markets, that could translate to roughly $1.25 per cow per day in additional revenue.
$1.25 a day, that's that number again.
That's a powerful incentive, assuming you can navigate the butterfat considerations and maintain your overall component standards.
Big assumption, but powerful number.
But you absolutely cannot look at just the revenue side of the equation. You must realistically budget for the additional costs involved.
Right. Got to look at the expense side.
Seed premiums for BR2 hybrids are generally 15–25% higher per bag compared to conventional or BMR, though this can vary by seed company and specific hybrid.
Okay, seed's more expensive.
You'll also likely need higher planting populations, typically in the range of 38,000 to 42,000 plants per acre, compared to the conventional 32,000 to 36,000.
Higher pops too.
Which means more seed cost per acre.
Then there are the substantial equipment modifications we discussed. Those $15,000 to $22,000 per machine, which need to be amortized over their useful life, but still represent a significant capital outlay.
That equipment cost is a biggie.
And let's not forget the soft learning curve costs. Potential harvest losses, even if minimized, and slower ground speeds, especially in that first year, which translates to increased labor and fuel costs per acre harvested.
Right, the hidden costs of learning.
These are very real expenses that can quickly erode profits if not accounted for.
The article uses an example of a 500-cow operation with 800 acres of corn silage.
Okay, decent size operation.
For an operation of that size, you're looking at a truly significant upfront investment when you combine all these factors. The economics can certainly work and look very appealing, but only if you achieve the full production response shown in the Michigan State trial.
Yeah, gotta hit those numbers.
There's little margin for error here, so careful planning, meticulous execution, and disciplined tracking are absolutely paramount to ensure a positive ROI.
So if you're listening to all this fascinating data and thinking about diving into BR2, the article provides some really clear, practical guidance on how to trial it correctly for 2025.
Okay, actionable advice time.
It emphasizes starting smart, being methodical, and documenting absolutely everything. This isn't a flip a switch whole farm conversion decision.
No, gotta ease into it. How?
Absolutely. The advice is to plant a manageable trial acreage, perhaps 50 to 100 acres of BR2 right alongside your current hybrid, and ideally in the same soil zone.
Side-by-side trial. Makes sense.
This minimizes variables and allows for a direct side-by-side comparison. When it comes to harvest, aim for a dry matter content of 30–35% and make sure your processor is dialed in tight.
Get that processing score up.
You're looking for kernel processing scores above 70% on your standard lab analysis to maximize starch availability.
And set your theoretical length of cut between 17 and 22 millimeters based on your specific PIN-DF goals for your ration.
Right, get the chop length right too.
This meticulous approach to harvest and processing is truly crucial for unlocking the full nutritional potential of this silage. This isn't just about getting it off the field, it's about getting it ready for the rumen.
What's truly not optional for making an informed decision about expanding BR2 acres is meticulous tracking.
Gotta track the data. What specifically?
You need to closely track dry matter intake, DMI, milk yield, energy-corrected milk, ECM, butterfat percentage and total pounds, milk protein percentage and total pounds, and even fecal starch for at least 3 to 4 weeks minimum after introducing it.
Okay, track everything.
This comprehensive data is your compass for making scientifically sound future decisions, allowing you to see if those promising trial results are replicating on your farm.
Before you even think about planting next spring, there's a vital pre-planting checklist to tackle.
Okay, homework before planting.
First, get definitive answers from your equipment dealers on header modifications and their actual costs for your specific harvesters.
Nail down those equipment costs.
Second, confirm seed availability and population recommendations for your area, as new genetics can sometimes be in high demand.
Check seed supply. Good point.
Third, budget meticulously for those higher seed costs and increase planting populations. And crucially, map out your most uniform field for the trial.
Pick a good, even field.
You want to eliminate as many confounding variables as possible to get a clear, unbiased picture of BR2's performance on your farm.
The key thing everyone's learning is that header setup and ground speed matter more with BR2 than they ever have for conventional corn.
Really got to dial in that harvest.
You'll want to start with low-profile snouts, if available, and ensure your deck plates are set tighter. Responsive header height control is also critical, and this is vital. Establish a loss check routine before you start chopping. Don't wait until you're halfway through the field to realize you're leaving money on the ground.
Check losses early and often.
Proactive management here will save you a lot of headaches, frustration, and lost tonnage, which directly impacts your bottom line.
As compelling as these Michigan State results are, the article readily acknowledges that we're still working with limited data.
Yeah, it's just one study, really.
This initial work is solid, truly foundational, but it's one trial from one specific year under a particular set of conditions.
Right.
To truly understand the full, comprehensive picture of BR2's potential, we still need to know a lot more before widespread adoption.
Absolutely. We need more data points.
Specifically, we urgently need early lactation data. This is where BMR typically shows its biggest, most critical advantages for cows under immense metabolic stress.
Yep. The fresh cow question is huge.
Understanding how BR2 performs in this phase is paramount. We also need multi-location trials across different climates, soil types, and management systems.
Right. Michigan isn't everywhere.
What works exceptionally well in Michigan might not translate directly to, say, the dry conditions of the Southwest or the humid environments of the Southeast. Each region presents its own unique challenges and opportunities for forage performance.
And perhaps most importantly, we need performance data from actual commercial dairies, not just research facilities where conditions are typically more controlled and optimized.
Real-world results. That's key.
Real-world farms face equipment limitations, labor challenges, variable weather, and daily economic pressures that can significantly influence outcomes. How does BR2 perform when everything isn't perfectly managed?
Yeah, that's the real test.
This is where the rubber truly meets the road.
This need for more diverse data is powerfully highlighted by the contrasting Italian work mentioned in the MSU paper.
Oh yeah, the Italian study.
That research, apparently using different BR2 genetics or under vastly different environmental and management conditions, found no effects on DMI, ECM, or body weight from BR2.
Wow, completely different results.
That's a pretty different story from Michigan's remarkable results, and it makes you really ponder just how significant genotype by environment GXE interactions are.
Big time.
And how much location, specific genetics, and local management truly matter in expressing these traits. It suggests these aren't universal plug-and-play findings.
It's also an incredibly important caveat that these results pertain specifically to the BR2 genetics used in this Michigan State trial.
Right. Not all short corn is the same.
Not all short-stature corn is created equal. Other short-stature platforms using different genetic mechanisms or breeding approaches may not deliver the same performance benefit.
Good point.
So don't assume that any short corn hybrid will give you these same impressive results. You need to know exactly what genetics you're planting and what data backs that specific hybrid.
Looking ahead, what's coming down the pike to help fill these data gaps?
Well, Penn State and Cornell, two highly respected dairy research institutions, are reportedly planning trials for next year.
Okay, more research coming. That's good.
This is fantastic news, as it should definitely help fill in the picture with more diverse data from different regions, different climates, and different management systems. That multi-state, multi-environmental data will be invaluable for broader industry adoption decisions.
And the most intriguing possibility on the distant horizon, something that truly sparks the imagination, is the potential of combining BR2 with BM3 genetics.
Ooh, BR2 plus BM3.
This, theoretically, could achieve the best of both worlds. Both the improved standability and compact architecture of BR2 and the even further enhanced digestibility of BM3.
Wow, that would be something.
If successfully developed, this could create a truly robust and incredibly high-performing hybrid that addresses multiple challenges simultaneously. But that's still very much in development, so it's something to watch for in the future with keen interest.
Yeah, one to keep an eye on for sure. Ultimately, what we really need moving forward is honest, transparent, and detailed feedback from commercial producers who are willing to try these hybrids under real-world conditions.
Right, need that farmer feedback.
University trials are fantastic and provide critical foundational data, but they don't always capture the full reality of tight harvest windows, equipment limitations, unpredictable weather, and the daily economic pressures that actual farms face. That commercial validation is the next critical step for BR2.
So, to distill all this down to the bottom line for your operation, 3 things truly stand out from this groundbreaking work that matter for your 2025 decisions.
Okay, let's summarize.
First, the production potential appears to be genuinely real based on Michigan State's data. We're talking about a 4+ pound higher daily dry matter intake and meaningful milk protein increases that could translate to a compelling $1, $1.25 per cow daily in additional revenue with current pricing.
The upside looks real.
That is a powerful upside that demands attention.
Second, the equipment challenges are significant, unavoidable, and expensive.
Can't ignore the cost.
You need to budget $15,000 to $22,000 per machine for older equipment modifications, plus you must realistically factor in a learning curve on harvest management. This isn't just about swapping out a seed variety. It's a fundamental shift in how you might harvest your corn silage, and it demands upfront investment and careful planning.
And third, this is definitively not a plug-and-play technology.
Needs management.
It requires proactive nutritional management, particularly focused on protecting butterfat and optimizing rumen health. It demands careful monitoring and a willingness to adjust rations to fully maximize those intake advantages while avoiding potential pitfalls.
Right.
It's a system change, not just a simple product swap, and it requires a dedicated, informed approach.
So what's your strategic move for 2025?
Yeah, what should listeners do?
If you're running newer equipment, have the financial flexibility for some calculated experimentation and a strong relationship with your nutritionist. A 50 to 100 acre trial of BR2 makes a lot of sense.
Okay, for some folks, a trial makes sense.
Start with your most uniform field, get your nutritionist deeply involved from day one to manage the ration, and document absolutely everything meticulously. That data will be your most reliable guide for future decisions.
But for most operations,
especially those with older equipment, tighter margins, or simply a lower appetite for risk, I'd lean towards watching and waiting.
Watch and wait. Okay.
Let's see more diverse research results from other regions and gather more real-world feedback from those early adopters. Allow someone else to work through the initial learning curve first, and then you can make a more informed decision with less financial and operational risk.
Patience might be wise here.
Patience can definitely pay off here.
What I'm really watching for, and what this deep dive has profoundly highlighted for me, is how the striking disconnect between lab predictions and actual cow performance challenges our fundamental assumptions about how we evaluate forages.
That lab versus cow thing again? It's huge.
If BR2 corn can consistently deliver higher intake and milk production while maintaining those crucial agronomic advantages across varied environments, it could fundamentally reshape our entire approach to corn genetics, breeding programs, and even our scientific metrics for forage quality.
This might indeed be the start of a significant paradigm shift, pushing us towards breeding for more balanced genetics that perform consistently and robustly across varied conditions and management systems.
Right, breeding for resilience.
Rather than simply chasing a single isolated trait like ultra-low lignin. That kind of inherent robustness and resilience is precisely what our industry needs as weather patterns become increasingly unpredictable and economic pressures continue to mount, making every decision on the farm that much more critical.
So after all that incredible detail, what's the key takeaway, the most actionable insight for a farmer listening today?
Okay, boil down. For you, the farmer, the article really boils down to 3 core actionable insights you can apply right now.
All right, number 1.
1. Evaluate the ROI with open eyes. The production potential of BR2 is significant and exciting, but you must factor in the substantial equipment modification costs and increased seed expenses. Don't just look at the potential for more milk per cow. Look at your total budget and the full financial picture, including those initial capital outlays and potential learning curve costs.
Okay, see the whole picture, costs included. Number 2.
2. Nutritional partnership is non-negotiable. If you decide to trial BR2, bring your nutritionist into the conversation from day one, even before you planned. Protecting butterfat, optimizing rumen health, and managing those faster fermentation dynamics will be absolutely critical to realizing the full component premium benefits and avoiding potential pitfalls that could negate your gains.
Get your nutritionist involved early. Makes sense. And number 3.
3. Start small and document everything. This is not a wholesale switch for 2025. If you're going to try it, allocate a manageable trial acreage, say 5,100 acres, choose your most uniform field, and meticulously track every relevant metric, DMI, milk components, and even harvest losses. This comprehensive farm-specific data is your compass for making sound future decisions, allowing you to scale up confidently or reevaluate.
Start small, track everything. Got it.
Great points. And that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into this fascinating research. For more articles and insights, be sure to visit www.thebullvine.com.
Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Bullvine Podcast. If you found value today, subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your fellow dairy innovators. Here's to pushing boundaries and driving innovation on your farm. Until next time, keep disrupting and growing.